Alright, hello everyone, welcome to Tarot Talk Tuesday. I am El, or Elahujan, and I channel the weekly collective reading for my collective. Briefly, a collective is a group of people who resonate with the same energy on some level. So, without further ado, I will get to the reading, and then afterward I will do a little bit of breaking it down, and then I will do some personal tarot reads from people who requested it. So the collective reading for October 13th through 19th is entitled Lightworkers for Humanity. This week is a time for making decisions and gaining momentum. Desire and dreaming are not enough to make things happen. You must take right action at the right time. Then all will shift. Sometimes the right action is simply to choose to observe, and that is fine when it is appropriate. But this week feels like a chance to take steps. Our intention to receive good things must be coupled with hands poised to receive them. Put your efforts where your desires are, with the assurance that you will have success. I speak as my higher self overtly in this next part, and trust that those who have ears to hear and eyes to see will understand. The origins and history of our species includes an element of enforced labor and unjust hierarchy. The price of personal freedom has often seemed to be shuffling off the bonds to another. In accepting the paradigm that forced labor has to exist, the idea that gave people permission to turn a blind eye to it was better her than me. So long as someone in the community took the punishment, others were allowed to rise. This system is corrupt and has been corrupt on a DNA level since the beginning. We, as warriors of the light, have fought against it and denied it, introducing opposing themes so that the humans after us could have another choice. We came back to Earth again and again, fighting the good fight to get the full and final liberation of humanity. We are nearly at the tipping point. Don't give up now. The question of who we are is less about what we grew from and more about what we decide to do with the material we have. Oppression can either accumulate more oppression, or it can transmute into freedom through a revolution of some kind. Revolution simply means a turning around, which reminds us that oppression and freedom are two sides of the same coin. This contrast is part of what we know as Earth life, but what we experience now is temporary. Contrast remains in the future, but we are headed into a better balance where the negative is finally checked. As lightworkers, we took up human bodies in order to overthrow forced labor and exploitation inherited in our human lineage and bring power back into balance. Doing this work will create in us and in the greater human family a stronger, more free, more compassionate, more just species and collective. This shift is changing our very DNA so that we and our soul family may enjoy human bodies on a higher level of consciousness. The question of whether this transmutation is even worth it has been hotly debated and ultimately judged valuable to the universe. Human existence was designed and approved to have great capacity for emotion, creation, and evolution. Even in our lower aspect, we still have enviable capacity to create, feel, and experience things that ultimately lead to positive growth. Humans are worth the effort because the way in which we co-create beauty is unique and fulfilling. I bring in this historical context to validate just how hard this has been for you and for all of us. And this knowledge comes with choice. It is and has been up to you whether you accept this calling to shift Earth and your human vessel fully into the light this way. In order to continue, you must really become embodied. From the consciousness of your light, you must accept what is now in all of its heaviness. As we shift higher, the veil is being pulled back and the vibration of Earth is being lightened, which forces change on a cellular level. As this happens, we will experience more triggers, more exhuming of darkness, and more opportunity to heal ancient wounds. but it will never be as bad as it was. Understand that only when we have accepted what is can we begin to change it. Love yourself and your past fiercely and unconditionally. To know oneself is the only chance to love oneself. Then, when we have mastered loving ourselves, we are called to love our counterparts in the game. All must be enveloped in love. Pure, unconditional love destroys the dark. It does not allow the light to be sacrificed. This sacrifices the very energy of oppression that we are transmuting. This is why self-love must come first. Unconditional love is balanced with justice and wisdom and tempered with every emotion. Anger and sadness are just as sacred as joy and peace. Continue to develop your understanding of love so that you may use all tools appropriately. I love you, Light Warriors. We are so, so close. Keep going. Elahijan. Thank you once again for following along. I post here on my YouTube and I also post on my blog, and I will put that link down below. As well as channeling for the collective, I also offer one-on-one sessions for energy work, readings, and clearings. You can find that link through the comments that is also connected to my blog. If you are having trouble finding the blog post and you get to the blog site, please scroll down. It will be there. It just has a bunch of junk up ahead, especially when you're on your mobile. So that is the reading. Along with the reading is the picture of the reading, which has the cards. These cards are from the Tarot of the Spirit deck, and they are gorgeous. I love working with this deck. So a little bit about the cards in the reading. If you need a refresher on how the reading goes, that is posted in previous posts here on YouTube. And it is my signature Wheel of Fortune, which was channeled to me specifically for this collective reading. It has 6 cards in a circle, with 1 card in the center as the center card, and then on the outside of that circle is the guiding card, which is the axle of the wheel. So in the central card position this week is the Sun, and that's our big yes. That's our big make a choice, commit to something, and you will have success. And what you want to commit to is more or less the right thing. And then we have the Master card for Tarot of the Spirit at the top. It was in last reading as well, but it was in a different position. Then we have Water Brother, which is also known as Knight of Cups in traditional tarot, or traditional Rider-Waite tarot. Next is Wind Father, which is King of Swords. At the bottom is 6 of Water or 6 of Cups. This one says to have faith. Have faith in your community and in your soul family. And if you don't know who they are yet, have faith that they are there, and that as you continue to keep your vibration high, you will by necessity come across them. And you will be together on, at very least, an energetic, and then manifesting into a direct communication. Next, we have the Chariot, which is a major arcana, saying that one way or another we are rising. And then last we have 7 of Fire or 7 of Wands, which is about courage, about standing your ground and committing to something that is huge. And in the guiding card on the axle is 4 of Cups or 4 of Water. This one is known as the Flood. This is about all of these things pouring into a common cause and creating this beauty of humanity and this beauty of community. So that is what we have to look forward to, and what we are starting to see as well. If you have any questions or comments, I would love to see them in the comments section. And now I'm going to go to the next part, which is the personal readings. Whoop. So our first one is Catherine. Catherine, you got Earth Mother. This card is very much remembering all of the parts that make you who you are. Remembering all of the ornaments of your path going forward. These ornaments are like flowers pinned to your lapel or put in your hat or feathers in your cap. These are telling you that you have done a lot and you have a lot to be proud of. Um, Basically, your money is where your mouth is, so don't doubt yourself. Keep going in confidence, knowing that you're on the right path and you are enjoying this life. Jen, Maddie, and there are two Jennifers here, Jennifer, so I'm going to give last names for these people. What does Jen, Maddie have? I guess we are going with the explosive deck method of getting a card. You have Earth Father. I love this. This is very much about planting our fields and harvesting them and continuing to nurture them until harvest. This is also the return of masculine energy, like healed masculine energy. There is so much satisfaction in continuing to go forward and continuing to take those steps. So don't be afraid to keep going. Next, we have Lori. Lori, you've got some interesting energy going on. There's some sense of lack trying to come out. But in the end, let's go with this card. There's Three of Earth. Works. This is about allowing all of your work to build upon itself. Allowing everything that you are doing to support and sustain everything else that you are doing. So it's also about like creations building on each other. So when you have a good foundation, that allows for more stability further up the chain into the walls, into the windows. You can't really have good windows without having a good foundation and a good wall to frame the window in. It's very interesting. I'm seeing the window motif as well. So it's really nice to be able to look out and see something amazing and beautiful and see your desires, but understand also that in order to appreciate that, you have done a lot of work and will be doing a lot of work to get to the things that you want. But it all does build upon itself. Um, in this, I'm hearing gratitude, taking a moment of gratitude to, again, look at your work. You've done a lot, and it feels small sometimes, but the most simple, small moves are often the ones that are the most powerful. Sybil, you got the High Priestess. Um, what does the High Priestess have for you today? I'm seeing the veil opening. I'm also seeing don't play small. Don't get lost in the weeds. This is very important for you as you go forward, being able to take in a global perspective, because I'm also seeing the world here, and I'm seeing, let's see, I'm seeing like a lot of the a lot of the symbology and the things that drew you to mysticism, they are outward forms alone. And what you really need right now is to remember the source of who you are in a way that allows for you to cast aside identity. And not necessarily to cast aside any and all identity, but to cast aside the identity of lightworker, the identity of medium, the identity of all of this, because it's not about the identity so much as it is about the greater purpose behind the identity. It's like we put on a suit and we go to work and we're like, yes, this is my work. This is my work suit. This is my identity. This is it. This is me. There's like this screen before High Priestess's eyes. Um, but that is not really the core of you or the core of your work. So it's a call to remember your divine connection in a deeper way. Hope I clarified that. Next one is er, or er. Sorry, I probably butchered it, but you know who you're talking about. I will tag you on Facebook. Okay, you got temperance, but it's upside down, so let's flip it and get the message. What is the message here? Distractions. Don't focus on the distractions. Um, Focus on where you're headed, because in order to get where you want to go, you're going to have to refine your direction. So this is very much a refining of direction. You're more or less on the right path, as evidenced here, but it's just a little bit skewed. So bring it back into balance. And the main clarion call for that is this really getting to the root of it, or is this just a distraction? Jennifer Tell, Fire Mother, or Queen of Wands. This one also has the symbology of the Strength card in this particular deck. This is about... The interesting thing about this is that the power of discernment and the power of action are very closely intertwined. She's in a cocoon, and she's taking in more information, and she's not acting until she knows exactly what she's doing. So it's very interesting to have this be the juxtaposition to the weekly reading of taking action, because sometimes it's okay not to take action when you don't know exactly what action to take. But this one is in a state of observance and in a state of embracing the shadow in yourself. So I'm seeing this as embracing the shadow inside of yourself and the shadow that you see outside as well, just inside and outside, but not doing so from a space of allowing them to hurt you, doing so from a space of having a boundary and saying, this person has shown me that they will act this way. I will put them outside of this boundary. They can act however they're going to act out here. I will be safe in here, and I will continue to heal myself. This blue here is kind of like a cutaway to say, you are in a healing cocoon, and you are finding out what your true power is. This is very interesting because she's dressed in like a nun's habit, where she's very much coming back to devotion, and it's almost an isolation as well. Protect your peace and continue on. You'll know what to do when the time is right. Liz Ryan. Okay, Liz Ryan, you have insight or Seven of Water. Seven of Water is also Seven of Cups, which is multiple choices. Again, we're seeing a theme of choosing the one that is in the most direct path for you. We are seeing all of these are feeding into the same sort of area, like the water is spilling into it from that, and from all of these is much perspective. So when we have multiple perspectives and we have the insight into that, it is a lot easier to make different choices. But it's like saying which one's the best fruit, apples or oranges. It's okay to choose one and then say, maybe another one would be a good choice next time. Um, this is also more of an all roads lead to Rome situation because if you are flexible, you cannot be broken. And we are coming to Emily. Emily, you got the world or the universe. This is a major arcana and beautiful to end off our personal cards. So this is also the number 21 in the deck. I don't know if 21 means something for you specifically, Emily, but what I'm also seeing here is you have a lot of power behind you, and you have had a history of making big things happen. I think sometimes you doubt it, and sometimes you're not sure how to use it, or maybe you feel guilty for using the power that you had because you know that you are powerful. Um, we need to get out of imposter syndrome and persecution blueprint and back into the true power that you have because this power is balanced and it is bringing back the divine power. This looks more like the divine power of the feminine, but it is without the masculine taken out of it. And I'm also seeing like shells and the ocean and ocean creatures. This is ancient power. And this is ancient power dealing with accessing your feelings and using them to influence the world around you. So maybe you might have some really strong feelings that you didn't know how to deal with before, but don't deny them because healing that is the key to coming back into your power and stepping into it. And you have a lot of good work to do. I hope that that helps. We are also going to do a card for those who are tuning in as a collective of people who are going to watch this replay. And that is Two of Water or Sacred Cord. It is important that in communion with others, you are not trying to give from an empty cup. It is important to fill your own cup first, to be whole in yourself so that you can contribute to the whole. Because it is so much easier to give from an empty cup. And in fact, it's actually healthier to give from an empty cup than it is to try to break off pieces of your own cup to try to fill someone else's. You'll just have to undo all the brokenness and then be able to learn how to refill it and get back to full. And it's going to take more time and cause more damage if you don't do it the right way. So it's okay. It's okay to take care of yourself. Self-love must come first, and then you can love others in a much better, more efficient way. Love you all. Let me know how this hit for you, and I will see you next week.